Yeah, when the schedule came out, we realized we were the team out in LA, fortunate to be able to come to TD. Garden is, really special for us. Someone that spent 7 years with the Sun and know what a tremendous franchise that is. And I owe so much to that franchise. And as I've told everyone, will remain always a big piece of my career and special in my heart. I could have ended my coaching career, certainly in Connecticut. So, truly special to come back to be a part of this moment, and to now see the momentum built for tonight's game and the sellout that's being announced and anticipated. We're going to try to, really look forward to being a part of something very special here.
Curt, Marina Mabrey obviously coming into Connecticut gives them a different look in the backcourt. What have you seen from her so far, and in terms of what she adds to the Sun and the challenges that she can pose to her performance?
Yeah, I think, hats off to Darius. I think they've made tremendous moves to make a run this year. Obviously adding another weapon, and her ability to stretch defenses, really is a special component to them. And what probably doesn't get talked about enough is exactly what's happened. You saw her start as a wing when Dejanay was out, and now you see her starting as, the point guard by position. So her versatility allows them to play a very short core group that has a chance to do something special this year. Her offensive ability to score at multiple levels is a weapon that's, really, really beneficial to Connecticut.
Curt, how have you embraced Dearica Hamby as a leader this particular season?
Yeah, I will tell you, she's a special human. And last year when we acquired her in the trade, and to watch her just after the birth of Legend and her second child, to be our only player in a season filled with over 200 games missed with injuries, fresh off her second child being born in Legend, to watch her be our only player to play in 40 games last year was truly remarkable from, a lot of areas, but just her toughness, her perseverance, and her as a person, and what, that meant to our whole franchise. She came back this year, as I've shared on numerous occasions, with not only in tremendous shape, but in a really good place emotionally, and very verbal that she wanted to be the leader, and talked very openly that she wanted to be an all-star. Her goal was to get one MVP vote. That's the kind of confidence she came in with. And, the news broke about a month before the season of Azare's injury was going to keep her out a long time. And Julie Alleman, who we anticipated being our starting point guard this year, was out for the season. So she, even more that last month, was very vocal that I'm going to be the leader of this team. And she has really followed through with that. She's had a remarkable year. If our record was better, I think she'd even be getting more attention, but it was nice to see her in the top 10 vote getting of the All-Star game. She's truly earned that, filled in, and was that late replacement for the USA 3-on-3 team that earned a medal and played for Jen. So, just having a remarkable year for us. It was not an easy environment the other night. Anytime she touched the ball, if you weren't privy to it, she was booed by a large majority of that crowd. And with, her children in the stands, and everything that she handled emotionally was just impressive. And we wanted to be present and with her through that. And, all she did was go put up another double-double for us.
On Dearica, what was it like for you watching her compete in the Olympics in that 3x3 tournament where they had some early losses and came back?
Yeah, again, I just that whole team, right? There's 4 players on that team. Jen Rosati is, someone that is, I'm really close with still, and spoke with numerous times throughout the Paris journey. They got off to, an 0-3 start, And to watch them, bond together and stick together, is a credit to all of them. But to watch Dearica, lead through that, and, fight their way back into the medal rounds. Again, the perseverance is what, and the perseverance is something that defines her, and then her grittiness, and just was really proud. But I tell you, it is helpless when you can't do anything. So I'd rather be coaching than sitting there in the stands and cheering. But, because all I could be was a spectator, but was a proud, coach of hers, and a proud person on a USA staff that was there to support her through that Olympic journey.
Rashawn?
Hey, Coach. What have you seen from Odyssey Sims these first couple of games, and what have been the conversations and things that you've asked of her?
Yeah, Odyssey's a pro and a veteran, and someone that I've coached in this situation before in Connecticut in 7-day contracts. So she really understands how to play. I appreciate what she's tried to do for us. She arrived at 2 a.m. and we played her in a game, and then played a back-to-back. So it just she's learning our playbook, but she's a veteran and knows how to play. I know she hasn't shot the ball well for us in these 2 games, but her offensive ability to be able to play downhill is going to be important for us. She's got to be in attack mode. There's not a lot of weaknesses in Connecticut's locker room defensively, and so knowing that she's got to stay in attack mode and try to find her own offense for us is going to be important. And then she also is a really quality on-ball defender. And she's learning all our schemes in a hurry. It's just, it's training camp on steroids. She gets 1 practice and she's got to play 3 games. I mean, literally, she's going to be played 3 games and had 1 practice. So, but she's a veteran, and she desired and was looking forward to the opportunity we provided her in LA. She was really excited about coming back out. So, it's nice to have her in a locker room that's handling a lot of adversity right now. Our 2 point guards are on 7-day contracts, so it just kind of defines what kind of year we're having.
What, if anything, can you take from the first meeting with Connecticut?
Yeah, again, I thought we've taken some punches this year, and with the exception of that New York game, we've responded and not gone away. And so, I thought while we played solidly against Connecticut and answered some runs, it started to creep away from us, but we never quit. And even in the 4th quarter, we fought back and got it into a single-digit game, and thought, throughout that, we did a lot of, little things within the game that should give us some confidence. Now, I will tell you, Ari McDonald played really well in that game. So Crystal, Odyssey, someone has to pick up the type of game that Ari had against them the first time. But, again, it was the game where Cam was injured. And so it was an emotional game for us, obviously losing, such a tremendous young player. So it was an emotional game for us, and we all remember that. So, but, again, Connecticut, I see something special. I understand, what it would mean to the franchise more than most of what a first championship would mean. And they have the roster that can be challenging, but we're not going to back down. And we think we have a good game plan going in, and it should be an incredible environment to play in front of. And I hope that we step up, but we do realize this is our 4th game in 6 days. So I have a little grace for them, but we are prepared, and we're going to be ready.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Jackie?
Hey, Coach, 2 questions. You've talked about building, but with the injuries and the sicknesses that we've been experiencing, are you going to try different lineups so you can kind of see the pieces that you have to work with and build on? And then my second question is, Lee Yarou, she looked so comfortable during the Olympics, but she still doesn't look as comfortable here. What are you guys doing to help her build her confidence and her comfort level?
Yeah, Lee is a tremendous young talent, obviously had a great Olympics for China, has a really bright future. She's 25. I'm not the GM, but I would tell you we probably receive more phone calls on Lee than anyone else on our roster. You know, she just has a bright future. But the physicality in the post in this league is the physicality of international basketball is insane on the basketball. I can't even begin to explain the war of cutting and on the ball defense. But when you really get in the post, it's more physical here. And so Lee's still trying to get used to the physicality of our game. She is a physical player herself. She gives us a presence that's different than Azare at the 5, different than what Cam was at the 5, Cameron Brink. So, you know, just trying to keep her confidence up. You know, she did not play well like our entire team against New York out of the gate. And I got multiple text messages of apology. You know, that's just a credit to the type of person she is, that she, you know, doesn't want to disappoint her teammates. She doesn't want to disappoint the coaching staff. She is one of the coolest, neatest people I've ever been around, and love coaching her. And she's got a bright future at only 25 and 6'7". I'm excited about what potentially is there. And, you know, again, she's going to have some good games and bad games. We're looking for some consistency out of her. But can't say enough good things about Lee.
Hey, Coach Miller, just a couple quick ones. You talked a lot about the injuries and how your team has dealt with the adversities, but what have you learned about yourself as a coach? I mean, this isn't your first time having to coach a team with injuries. You had to kind of make some maneuvers when you were with Connecticut. Even as a veteran coach, do you feel yourself learning more about your style and how you approach these situations?
Sure. Yeah, Tareeka, it's just amazing because, you know, it seems like my career has been defined by adversity and trying to, you know, put teams in position to be successful, dealing with injuries. But I will tell you the difference between Connecticut and my 2 years in LA now is it always seemed to be one major injury in Connecticut to a starter. So we were always trying to figure out how to overcome losing a major piece, or when JJ opted out of the bubble, and, you know, those, it seemed like every year there was a major piece gone, and we were trying to come. The depth, or the, you know, the amount of injuries that we've had in LA is at times overwhelming to all of us. We have as many people in street clothes at times, you know, that we do on the bench. And so, you know, just trying to continue to preach the same thing, the unintended consequences, you know, like, again, if Chene doesn't get hurt, we don't move Alyssa Thomas to the 4. History written. She wrote it herself to become the best facilitating 4 in the world. You know, like if you know, JJ doesn't opt out, it doesn't get the window to Bree Jones to gain more and more confidence, you know, and you just had story after story like that in Connecticut during my time, people ready. So we're preaching the same thing. But the losses are mounting, and it's hard for a young team. And so what I've learned about myself is that we are really, really dedicated on sticking to the process. And I know that it's cliche when you're in a building team or a rebuild, but, you know, the little things of getting better and growing. And I thought we played tremendous the other night against Vegas, and we beat them twice this year. We lost by 16 the other night, and I was never so happy in a locker room. Like, it sounds crazy, and people might be upset at that because there's no moral victories, but we did so many things that we were trying to accomplish and played well. And so those are the messages. And while our locker room has some loss fatigue, there's no doubt, this is a big picture. And, you know, we're asking for some patience from our fan base. We're asking, you know, patience with each other, because we know that wins and losses are going to take care of themselves, but our goal is the little things to keep getting better. And then big picture wise, I'm getting older, and so I have always coached really hard in my career, and at the collegiate level, man, I coached really, really hard. And but you had that built-in relationships through long years of recruitment at the collegiate level. The pro game's a little bit more transactional. It's their job, and you don't have as long and as easy of an opportunity to build the relationships. And so I can't coach quite the way I've coached early in my career, or even when I started as a pro. I'm still fiery. I still yell. But I realize this next generation, I have a really fun, bantering, sarcastic relationship with Rakia, almost to the point where people think we joke too much during, the heat of the battle, but we have a lot of fun with each other. That's how I can reach Cameron better. And so, I've had to adapt, and at this level, I can't always coach the way that I did. And so I keep growing and growing, and I don't think they'll ever call me soft and gentle, but I'm a little bit softer and gentler than I have been. And I think it's really important at this level. And most importantly, with today's athlete, will respond better that way. But I still have some of those vets in the locker room coming up to me one-on-one as we talk about that, going, I still need yelled at, coach. I still need challenged. And so trying to find that balance, and that's been a big growth area for me.
Second one for me, coaching. I don't expect you to ever lose that fire about you, Curt. That's what makes you Curt.
Yeah.
But more of a fun one here. I mean, we're here in Boston. You know the history between Boston and LA. Would you like to futuristically see something continue between, a New England team and a West Coast team ducking it out here?
Yeah, that would be tremendous. Obviously, I grew up, loving basketball and was just a basketball junkie. And, it was LA and Boston, but I was a Philly fan, growing up in Pennsylvania. So I was a Sixer fan. So, we were kind of there also. So, it's fun to see, it's fun, the connection that we have and the respect that we have. I think Steph has done, an amazing job, and, really happy that they found someone, and, happy for that core group of players. When I look out there and look for the starters tonight, Dejanay, and Breezy, I drafted, we, acquired DB and one of the best free agents that Connecticut's ever landed in the history of their program, in the history of the franchise. And no, I can still remember the Ruth Chris dinner that I had in Birmingham with her to try to convince her. And then, there's AT, and there'll always be that respect so much. But, I could have stayed here and continued to win 25 to 30 games a year, but I needed a spark, and they needed a voice after, affectionately referred to as the Buffalo Bills, those 4 years that we were so damn close and didn't get there, that I think it was great for everyone, but that doesn't mean a huge part of my heart's not still here.
Thank you.
One more.
What would you say tonight's game means for women's basketball?
Yeah, I think it's, tremendous that the crowd that we're going to have and what it speaks to of the growth of our game. Like someone that's been involved with women's basketball for now 35 years, I've always, tried to be someone out in front talking about our product and how great it is. And if we could get eyes on it, or if we could get people in the building, we hook them. Women's basketball is such a great product. And so this rookie class has really helped the recent years in college basketball. The success of women's college basketball has brought even more eyes and people walking through the turnstiles. But once they're here, it's the product that we put on the floor in the greatest, league in the world. And so really excited about these opportunities. I'm excited for our women around the league playing in filled arenas this year. It's awesome. And more people on a daily basis are realizing what a great product we have. Thank you.